Okay, let's do this. I think this is it now. Alright, welcome to the semi-finals, or at least one of them. Full-scale assault. I'm going to be casting... Oh, light grey versus great light blue, aka silver. Freaking hell. Okay, well, we got it. It is what it is. I'll try my best to cast this. It's going to be grey versus grey, basically. But this is semi-finals, and it's happening right now. It's Team Trump versus Emperor +3. SHOUTcast Forsaken represents Team Trump in this case, and we'll have Happy over here representing Emperor +3. I'll do a little straw poll for that whilst the game is warming up. So the colours I'm going to have to type in grey, and I think it is technically light blue. The other team. I think that's what they're known. It's technically light blue, but... because it's not silver. Even though it looks like silver, but I think it's technically light blue. Oh, great. I just got an error because I had that straw poll up for so long. Right, let me just do the straw poll again. Type that all out again. Thank you very much. It's not inconvenient. Okay, it's decided to work now. Interesting that we're getting full-scale assault as well.
A player's forces are under attack.
Let's have a look at that whilst this is going on. Oh, that's not what you want. Whoa. So I think there was an attempt there to build the Ancient of War nearby, was it? Or was that just a really bad scout? I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so let's come back to this. Add the straw poll into the chat so I can concentrate on the game. Okay. So let's have a look. We got Drain playing as Undead. We've got We Are Fowls as the human, who's clearly moving in for an expansion, alongside some help from Long Walk USA, the Night Elf player, Keeper of the Grove, keeping that Ogre Magi under control. I'm assuming mass huntresses, as you would typically expect from Night Elf, and the Orc, SHOUTcast Forsaken, who tends to favour the Blade Master, and then Shadow Hunter, and then Torrent Chieftain. Not necessarily in that order, but I'm expecting those. And that's probably a reason why he's taken up early. It's less important to get the grunts out here and more important to get those triple heroes out ASAP, because you see how powerful SHOUTcast Forsaken has been this series essentially with his heroes, so that's what he's focusing on. So Happy as the Death Knight and Undead. Good game are you. Looks like a relatively, well, a more humble Huntress build, not the double Ancient of War. And we got good game Abva, human, so you'd expect your Archmage, your Footman, nothing too surprising there. S.o.K.o.L is the Orc, so he has decided to get barracks and a couple of grunts, so we'll see which of these two Orcs really has been favoured in their tech choices. So Undead, Human, Night Elf and Orc. Isn't that a mirror match? Undead, Night Elf, Human and Orc. It is. And that should be interesting, because this is a clearly, I mean, this might be something this team does a lot, because I think they did this last time. Or if they didn't, then everyone's doing this, where they put an Ancient of War in with the human expansion. Oh yeah, I'll start the stopwatch off. Well, the stopwatch is started, but it might be a little bit off on time. I think about 3 to 4 minutes has passed. Tree of Life being placed down here, so no expansion for Undead, but it's harder for them since they have to take an Acolyte off the gold mine to do it, unless they invest in another Acolyte. I mean, The Night Elf can feed pretty reliably. It's one of those races that feeds, but an undead with an expansion, aka Frostworm potential, is never a bad thing. So, depends how well you want to feed and sort of distribute your resources and how effectively you want to do that. Some good micro from We Are Fouls. But is it going to be enough? No! Because I know that experience. I have been there, I have done that. Trolls are not to be trifled with. You can do that, attack... Basically what he did was he attacked one of his own units with his injured unit. So the injured unit attacks one of his healthy units, which distributes... which makes the trolls or the hostile units think that that unit is no longer a threat, so they move on to another target. However, trolls, for some reason, in Warcraft 3, they go by the name. They don't play by the rules. They are troublesome. They don't really pay attention to your efforts to deliberately micro things like that. They just say, screw it, I'm going to attack it anyway. They're always really difficult to do that against, and it was funny to watch because it's nice to see and say, hey, that doesn't just work, that doesn't just happen to me. So that's a lovely Huntress for a bunch of Fiends to pick on there. Huge damage taken. Huntresses don't do great versus Fiends. I'm just going to tell you that right now. They've got unarmored, and Fiends have piercing damage, and piercing damage does a lot of damage to unarmored. Oh, hello. The colours are horrible here. I will try to do my best. I think I'm going to... As the game progresses, I'll get more used to it. But since it's a mirror match, it's not like one team is Night Elf and the other team is human, so I can easily tell the difference. It's just going to be a case of me going through the game and trying to work out who's who and what type of units they've built, so I can sort of better differentiate, you know, these 2 versus 2 situations, or whether it's a 1 versus 2 situation. We'll just have to deal with it. But I will call the right team. Okay, I'll call this team on the east-hand side blue instead of light blue, because otherwise I'm going to be... Light blue is just... It's just that little bit more to say, so it doesn't make sense. Just call them blue. Blue versus grey, okay?
A player's forces are under attack.
Blue versus grey. Okay. So, Priestess of the Moon, Love. S.o.K.o.L with his Blade Master and Grunts versus Kodo's fast tech into Wyverns, which definitely seems to be his staple. Whilst he concentrates on hitting those critical creeps. He creeps out these camps. In case you weren't aware, the one that can purge... Oh, hello. He's been caught. He does manage to sneak out, though, very slyly, because only losing one Wyvern there isn't too bad, considering that could have gone a lot worse. Yeah, the one that purges, the Null Warden, on this map, in this creep camp here, Null Warden drops a really nice item. So you'll typically see an Orc player send their Blade Master there straight away. So if you like 4 versus 4 RT, it would actually be in your interest in a lot of cases to load up the World Edit, which is the map editor for Warcraft 3, and open up the maps. So this is called Full-Scale Assault. So just look for Full-Scale Assault in your map directory, and you can basically, you know, look up the maps and you can see which creeps drop the nice items. Do this for 1 versus 1, 4 versus 4 RT. I need to at one stage memorize it all. I've never got to the stage where I've memorized it, but for the most part I know generally what things are going to drop and how valuable certain creeps are. You can most of the time tell from the type of creep it is. So an Ogre Magi typically will drop an item because he's a bigger creep compared to like a small troll trapper. But that's not always the case. There are some maps where the smaller creeps will actually drop. Wow, what a surround there. The Huntress surround. Good game, RU. Good game indeed. Down goes your Priestess of the Moon. Fiends are doing some nice damage, but at the same time they're being hit hard by the Grunts. They do look like they're the same colour, these teams. But it does look like blue is pushing back grey. But yeah, honestly, check out the maps and you'll be able to find some neat little exploits. There's certain little small creeps on maps that will drop some really nice items, like 200 gold worth items, like Scroll of the Beast, which is basically raw for bears that you normally get, as well as Wand of Mana Stealing. 200 gold items, you'll typically just sell those and that will help you tech up faster and whatnot. Kodo's Forsaken, because of his tier 3 strategy, like I said, he goes for the triple heroes as fast as possible. Distribute that experience. Get powerful. Tauren Chieftain, Shockwave, Blade Master, Imbalance, Shadow Hunter, awesome support. And of course the Wyverns just doing some great damage and picking off units to help supply those heroes with experience. As well as this tier 3, giving them the tiny Great Hall. That means a fast Great Hall. And, of course, the towers to help support it, because why not? And they're also going to be armoured, by the looks of it. Wow. So he's got a very specific strategy here, and he's moving into casters, which is great, because he's not just sort of like getting greedy and going mass wyverns. He's also moving into casters to help support his team. The middle is now being finished off here by Kodos Forsaken. So the wyverns allow him, alongside the triple heroes and the blade master with the orb of lightning, to have enough control. This isn't an easy creep count to do, but with enough piercing damage in the heroes, he might lose a unit or two, but in his experience, this will be worth it. If you see him lose a unit or two, that isn't actually really that bad a thing, because it's the value of what you're getting. He's getting a lot for doing this. That's 2 level 10 dragons and a bunch of trolls. Awesome. Oh, Tauren Chieftain, the Aura King. Endurance Aura and Unholy Aura. Woo! That's nice. He could have got the Ancient Django of Endurance, though, which would have been technically better, because that's not an item that you can really replicate. Although the Kodos kind of do it, but I think they might actually have a separate type of aura. So theoretically, Ancient Django of Endurance, which I think increases your attack and movement speed, or something similar to that effect.
Town is under siege.
Can someone in the chat type out !tone, by the way? Because that's what's happening. Wow, huge attack here coming on. That looks like a timing attack to me from Happy's team. That's the light blue team, or the blue team as we've agreed to call them. Those destroyers definitely look more blue than the rest of these units. They are really grouped up and good to go. They are doing some massive damage. So obviously the hardcore creeping and sort of like greedy grabbing items strategy from Grey is much riskier, because essentially they haven't invested in quite the army that light blue, or I suppose if I can call them light blue, I will call them light blue, but blue have basically managed to sort of like accumulate. They're ready to go and potentially finish the game. If they don't finish the game at this point, then I think the items that have been gathered and the experience from creeping will basically probably turn the tide in the long run for Grey, but it's looking really rough right now. We have to see what Grey are going to provide in terms of units to defend this, because we are fouls, tier 3, but I don't really see any buildings. Ah, okay. Tanks are coming in, but they ain't going to be enough. The destroyers are pretty damn tanky themselves with 900 health, so that's really a case of it's going to be 3 armies versus 4 for the most part here. Wyverns and triple hero, though, very strong. Needs to get a great position. Good threat on the Death Knight, only level 3. Forcing a town portal, this is big. Very big deal. They're draining with the Frostworms, though, so they're still not doing actually too bad. They've got a pretty damn respectable army, so honestly, this is looking pretty damn good for Grey. They took a lot of damage there, lost an expansion, took some real economy damage there, but their armies and their heroes particularly are pretty powerful. So forcing the town portal there was really the key, I think, in that situation. But you never know what you're going to get when people town portal in. So I think the best thing to do is to be back off, assess the situation. What's town portaling in? What's coming in? Your eyes need, in 4 vs 4 RT, more than any other game mode, you need as much time as possible to assess the situation. Your brain is processing all of these units, doing the math, you know, subliminally, before you even realize it. It's going, okay, 4 Frostworms, 3 Fiends from that guy, you know, 2 Taurens, 4 Witch Doctors, 2 Shaman. Like, what do all of these army units combined together accumulate to? Is that more powerful than the group that we've got? You just need a bit of time to soak up that information. It's very difficult to do so in 4 vs 4 RT. You get very little time, so you need to give yourself as much time to do so. And whoa, Kodos for a second. Losing a few wyverns in this. But he does get some revenge on the undead. But not enough undead. Not enough revenge, I would say, to value that. Well, the expansion's still strong there. More wyverns coming out. Witch Doctors and Shaman being the focus. Although the Shaman's an interesting choice. I suppose since he already started to invest in it, he decided to go the whole hog. And if he can destroy the destroyers, then the Shaman will have a place in this game. But otherwise, they are pretty hard countered by these destroyers. Yes! That's what I wanted to see. I was just about to say, would those be mortar teams? Mortar teams. Great. I think they are possibly one of the best units for 4 vs 4 RT mortar teams. They're basically like an Archmage or a Blood Mage. You know when they do Blizzard or Flame Strike. They're like an area of effect type of unit, except they're a unit. They're not a hero. They're not casting mana, not casting spells. That's just a normal attack. When they've got Fragmentation Shards, which is the upgrade which gives them splash damage versus medium armored units and unarmored units, it means they do a lot of damage. And in 4 versus 4 RT, a lot of units such as Fiends and that clump up together. Speaking of Blizzard, and potentially Flame Strike, what do we have here? Making up, so that's going to combine with the Mortar teams. It's going to be devastating. Okay. I was going to say, is one of those not on the same team? Because that was a weird attack. Alright, I'll just take a chug of water.
Forces are under attack.
A force TP for Happy. Not so happy about that one, eh? But he does manage to get out there pretty well, considering nothing lost, I'd say. And he's kept 2 players slightly distracted, so not too bad, really. You know, you can't argue with that too much. I suppose he took it out on that ghoul, though. That's nice use of actually, if you don't have to worry about wood so much at this stage, particularly when you're older, then you can use your Ritual Pact and get some mana back, because that's more important in life at this stage. In your later years is mana. So, sorry, I caught up with myself. Alright. Some kids won't get that, that's great. I try to do those like Pixar Disney jokes where it goes over the heads of like the kids, but the elders might get it. But, you know where you got jokes for adults, and did that... Oh! 1 health mountain giant. That needs to be a thing. That was a 1 health mountain giant out of 1600 health.
Town is under siege.
Oh my god. Not many times where you get to see that. Freaking brilliant. Okay, I like that. That makes this game worth it just alone by itself. Is that a blue dragon? Yeah, S.O.K.o.'s Forsaken got the blue dragon. Daytime occurred. I think the blue dragon comes available at this point in the day. I can't remember exactly when that is, like 1300 or whatever it might be. But it's the first one up here on the daytime. After like the 2nd day or... Ooh, huge attack going on here. The blue dragon will be able to soak up quite a lot of damage from the hippos, but the wyverns not so much, especially with the bat support. Mountain giants trying to mitigate some of the damage. Looks like forcing back. Good game are used, so the blue team are managing to be pushed back in this situation. Panda going down. That's also a thing. Just seeing the panda sort of collapse. Nice use here with the destroyers, just grasping a little bit of extra experience wherever possible. I like that because he's creeping over here. Not too bad. He's got a really large army now. 80 food though, still keeping under that tax bracket, so he's not up past the 80 food. Huge attack here. Frostworm starting to move in, potentially on some fragile mortars. Get the Archmage, get out of it! He's got to use that town portal, come on! Oh, that was a long time to go without using that town portal. You must have been very confident that there was no coil coming. So many mortar teams going down. I love my mortar teams, but they do get very heavily countered by undead. So they're great when you're all grouped up together, so you've got other teammates sort of supporting you, but not so much when you're on your own against Frostworms. That's a bit more difficult. But the Dryads and the Hippogriffs, they are the counter. So those two need to team up and work together. The Human and the Night Elves. The Alliance fighting against the Undead Scourge. What else have we got going on here? So still pumping out more Mountain Giants. Tanks out for Abfer. Just trying to keep these trees of life down. I think that won't kill it. Maybe that will. The 2nd Water Elemental coming out though. Might just be enough DP. No, that probably will kill it. Yeah, that will kill it. Surely. Oh my goodness. No! So that 2nd Water Elemental coming out. As soon as it did, just get that little bit of extra DPS just to stop the tank getting that final hit. Town Portal from S.O.K.o.'s Forsaken just in time. Ooh. Woo! Sorry. Apologies for that. I mean, that is a beefy dragon, but you saw those hippos were stacked right on top of that dragon. They didn't even have to travel, and they hooked onto it fast. Even though he's so beefy, he almost went down there. And that was a smart town portal. That was a very fast one. And even then, that dragon was in a bit of trouble. And did you hear that? He just finished devouring unit. So that means that he's effectively using Devour as well, which many people, including myself, don't often do. Because the dragon also has the ability to devour a unit. It's like the Kodo Beast.
A player's forces are under attack.
Well, what's going to come in here? Because that's a very vulnerable looking base. Obviously been rebuilt after so much harass and so much hassle has happened. I don't think I even properly covered whatever happened here last time. It was the castle. There was a main base attack, but I don't remember them killing it. But there you go. So much happens in 4 vs 4 RT. I try my best to try to cover it, but some things will slip through the net. That's just the nature of it. I'll give you as much visual information though as I hover over the bases and what each player respectively is producing for his team. Take that, Frostworms. Enjoy your slow. Mud Golem said no. Oh no, hang on a second. Adver, are you about to find some... Oh, he's not sure where to go for it. They have to team up. They're doing the smart thing by being cautious, but those are some... Well, no, they're not so slow now, but those Frostworms are looking a little bit fragile for a moment there. They're doing a slow, gradual push here. They've got support with the Witch Doctors, Stasis Traps, Healing Wards. They've got the Mortar Teams. Fast moving in, doing some good damage, but maybe not enough. Gyrocopters will definitely finish off the rest here. Mountain Giants in for Team Drayan, so that's a great team. Kodo's Forsaken coming in from the top side, trying to do as much damage as possible. Gyrocopters, are they doing enough? They're getting distracted by the mortars. Not the mortars, sorry, the Mountain Giants with the taunt. That's the only issue. If you get Gyrocopters and you give them the bombs upgrade, that means they're able to attack ground units. So if a Mountain Giant taunts, all your Gyrocopters are going to attack that Mountain Giant. Adver at it again. Will he get away with it? Not this time. No. No, he didn't last time anyway. Maybe third time, eh? Fowls is over here with his human tanks. And he'll be able to kill a little bit, but I think that Cigarette will be able to handle it. I don't know, actually. Those Acolytes need to move over, and now there seems to be a Scroll Teleport. Not Scroll Teleport. Star for Teleportation coming in, so yeah, no, okay, that's going to be a pretty effective attack. Huge battle coming on here. Oh, look at the Town Portal. Get out of that right now. Yeah, Grey tried to get on top of that and do as much damage to those units before they got out, but Blue did manage to get out just before any critical damage was done. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing with the sappers. I ain't going to see them very easily. Bear in mind that this is a snowy map, and we have two teams. One of them is grey and one of them is light blue, aka looking very silver, on a map that basically has a lot of snow on it.
A town is under siege.
That's not the easiest one to observe, but I'll try. Oh, I just heard that die. There's your sapper. Right there. He didn't make it very far. So many attempts to try and bring down this Tree of Life. Maybe they should just give it up. I like the attempts though. And a human, yep, they can do this. They might be able to transport some of the peasants over, take an expansion, but there's still quite a few air units from Drayan, and well, it's going to be tough to keep this expansion up. Better stop that peasant. Well, the mortar team actually killed it instead. Okay. We've got something similar going on over here. Kodo's Forsaken. Orc towers are actually really still good though. They're better than the human towers in my opinion when you get them massed up. Okay. Another very sort of like narrow escape from Happy over here. He's doing pretty good on that. He gets a good bit of harass. He always seems to get around this point and then pushed back and doesn't really lose anything. So he's doing pretty good there on that. Gyrocopter's coming in there with the bombs away. So the bombs away are good obviously versus this, but not. You just got to keep an eye on it. The Mountain Giant does taunt. Not too bad. If that bat committed to the other ones, that would have been awesome. But he was obviously on the same target as another bat, so that meant that he didn't commit to his attack once the Gyrocopter went down. Oh, actually, that's wrong. Because of the splash damage, say you have two bats and there's two Gyrocopters. If that bat goes for that Gyrocopter, that bat goes for that Gyrocopter. That bat kills that Gyrocopter and the splash damage kills that one. This bat will stop what it's doing, which is basically what happened there. And that can sometimes be super detrimental because you might miss out on a whole ton of kills because of it. Mountain Giants tanking it for the team. Star for preservation, good use there. Make sure you use that as much as possible. Mountain Giants ain't cheap, and you can obviously get your value worth. Bear in mind that this map has a fountain of mana at a fountain of health, sorry, at the back of each team's base in the middle. So you can just send your Mountain Giants over to that, or you can soak up the Moonwells, depending on whatever your choice might be. So this little fella here, he can either soak up the Moonwells or pop over here and heal up with pretty quick timing. Is that a tiny Great Hall human town hall? I think that was. Looks like it's going to pay for itself though. Definitely worth it if it holds up. That's a pretty big force coming in here from blue. S.O.K.o.L's Forsaken not so confident on taking it up, but the team town portal might give them enough confidence to back into this. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'll probably run away if I were you. That's not going to be worth it. Have you got a town portal? You do. Give him a quick coil and then town portal out, but even then I think it's... yeah. There's no scenario where that's going to go too well for you, I think. Nice attempt, but... yeah, you're not going to get enough out of that. So this town hall actually managed to make it into a castle. Back at it again to the castle stage. Fantastic. Human on human violence going on here. Fouls, not impressed with Adver. Make the map black. Yeah, I guess so. I can do it on and off. I do like to show the whole map, but it kind of gives you more of a visual of sort of like the layout of the map, and it makes it make a bit more sense. But yeah, every now and then I'll flicker between it, so that way you can kind of get more of a grand scheme of where the armies are sort of like placed, and I'll go back and forth so you can sort of see the layout of the map. Then you go back to see the, you know, where the armies are placed again. Adver, free water elementals do not like your expansion. Is there another dragon available? There is! Dragon available! Who wants to buy it? Buy it! Blade Masters are actually pretty effective on a map like this, where most expansions are quite easily available. Hippogriff's making a strong mark on Drayans. Oh, the Frostworm's so easily able to be picked off here in this situation. Slightly too far back. No Unholy Aura to give them that extra boost of speed. You can see a huge convoy of units. That's a good idea to do the WTii there. I think in the later game stages like this, when we've got huge armies moving around, this definitely makes a lot of sense. Even Chimera's coming in, bears with the roar. This could be the finishing move right now. This could be the final battle. We have to see. S.O.K.o.L's Forsaken. Dragon has been picked. He's going to get taken down. The Fiends. I can understand why no dragons are being picked off. Oh my goodness, the freaking Gyro God's a bombing the dragon. Because he's grounded. Okay, bats coming in. What are they going to do versus the gyros? Oh, the gyros are being split very nicely. The bats getting confused. Taunted over to the mountain giants there, getting attacked over there. Huge splash damage over here from the archmages. Loads of damage going off. Tanks, mortar teams at the back. Huge armies of support. You can see the witch doctors, the spirit walkers, the dryads. Fiends on the left-hand side trying to provide some DPS output. But is it going to be enough? The Mountain Giants still doing a great job of tanking as much as possible with their taunts. Heroes at the back, but the Blizzard doing a lot of damage here. Got to be very careful. The Moonwell's nearby, but not that many of them left at full of juice. It does look like the blue team have been forced back in this situation, but I'm not sure if they actually lost it. But maybe now, with a huge loss of mortar teams like that, that's quite a lot of mortar teams to fall down. That was fairly even. I think with those mortar teams going down, that probably made it so that it was favourable towards Grey. But having said that, you look at the map, Grey is kind of slowly losing these expansion spots. Has managed to maintain this bottom one though quite well, but only 5,000 gold from that mine, isn't it? If it's 15,000 gold, I might be incorrect, it might be more than that. Whereas blue teams obviously got a bit more going for them. But trying again over here in a second. The ghouls are even moving in here from Drayan, because obviously the very aggressive Adver once again refusing to allow this expansion to stand, but I think he might be shut down once more in a second. Although the towers do help, but that's a lot of tanks from Fouls and With the towers, do they focus down that Tree of Life? He might go down this time. That's going down. That's got to go down. How could that not go down? Oh, wait, the tank's got blocked. Okay, he managed to do it. He managed to do it. Okay, back to the ult T. So you can get more of a grasp of the armies on the minimap as they all start to converge to this point. One tank not really doing enough here versus those air units, Destros, and the Hippos. Needs a lot more tanks, and many of those were lost in that sort of like attempt to save the expansion. I missed this DK save, I think. See, there's so much going on 4 versus 4 RT. That would have been neat to see, but I had to know whether that Tree of Life was going to make it or not after there's been so much sort of like argy-bargy going on in that situation. Well, the expansions, there's only really one now actually bringing in the gold after this one's gone down. So it just comes down to this next battle maybe that's going to sort of like determine whose numbers are going to make the difference. I do like the forces of Light Blue. They've got so much support with the Kodo, the auras that they have, you know, but bear in mind that the items that, you know, Kodo's Forsaken picked up as well as these triple heroes are pretty powerful, but the triple heroes of Happy are also very powerful too. They're getting up there to that stage where they're becoming a little bit hard to contest versus. Dryads, Hippos, there's such a great force here. Like, it's only one bear, but that's a bear for raw. I think they just have the edge, I reckon, but it comes down to how the players utilize their units, really, and who sort of defends. Got to be a little bit careful here. Mountain Giant does have Purge. He can sort of catch a Mountain Giant. Blade Master has a Purge with the Orb. He has the ability to purge and freeze a unit in spot with a proc from his Orb of Lightning. Right, base race time. Interesting play here. Kodo's Forsaken probably taking the right route because they got town portals, both of them. So when they need to get back, they'll get back, and they're going to be forced to get back pretty damn soon. So expect a town portal and probably a final battle. I'm not sure there's going to be any more battles after this one. This looks like it. Huge arc set up. Loads of wisps brought in for multiple dispels. Let's go. Loads of tanks, but will they be able to find a spot? At the moment, they're pushed into the back, and the Destros, if they stay on the east-hand side, particularly towards the northern side, they'll have more use, but they're somewhat countered by the Fiends. Loads of support there also from Kodo's Forsaken Draen, but the Mortar teams are raining down a lot of hell, as well as the Blizzard and the Flame Strikes going off. We've got Stasis Traps even being utilised, healing wards up on the bottom. Loads of damage. Mountain Giants, literally giant, throwing down the taunts, trying to distract as much as possible. Destro's caught up in the middle of the battle. Tanks finding their place. We've got so much damage. Kodo's Forsaken trying to escape with the... No, he doesn't manage to make it out with it. But the Crypt Lord, maybe revenge. No, the Crypt Lord comes back with a coil. Looks like Kodo's Forsaken's being pushed back. Light Blue looking fairly strong, but at the same time, I still think it's really good for Grey. No, not really. No, I think it's definitely good for Light Blue here. Because the colours are so close, but I think they've definitely got the edge, especially when they're forcing so many units back. Yep, the Mortar teams, I said it, you know, time and time again, they're so good. +3 upgrade, they've got Bloodlust. There's only so much the Destroyers can dispel, and the Destroyers actually belong to Happy, so good luck with that. There's not much dispel otherwise, aside from a few Dryads, I think, for Grey. So Draen's now forced back. He's going to be probably picked off in a second. The Destroyers are doing quite a bit DPS, actually. It's surprising, because there's so many of them. And when they manage to dispel stuff, they get extra damage, because they get mana that they can then use to do extra damage. That Death Knight... Down he goes. The shimmer's in. Kodo's trying to stay alive here. Potion of healing. I'm not even sure if it's available. He might have already used one, so it's currently on cooldown. Down he goes. And Kodo's Forsaken and Team Trump, I believe, have been defeated in the first round of this semi-finals. So, we will now see what map they choose to be the next map to be played on, because the losing team gets to decide the next map, but it can't be the same map that's been played, so we won't see full-scale Assault again, thankfully. I'm not a hugest fan of it, even though we've had a couple of awesome games on it. But that was a really, that was 34 minutes of some proper higher level play on that one. Definitely tough game. So good job, guys, and let's see what happens in the next one.